What's going on, everybody? This is going to be one of the first shows now where we get into the off season, right? Looming decisions. Is Travis Kelce going to retire? Is he going to come back for his quote unquote last season as a last hurrah? We don't really know. But what we know, we have a list of unrestricted free agents, the Chiefs' restricted free agents, and so on and so forth, as well as the rest of the free agents in the NFL. This is your guys' Q&A. We're going to talk about all this stuff and then answer your questions today here on RGR. What's going on, everybody? Welcome in. As you can see tonight, it is just me. I'm riding solo because Ryan is doing dad stuff with his kids, and he's going to be dealing with that. He was there the whole weekend, and now it's moved into Monday as well. If you guys are new to the channel here, this is RGR Football. Ryan going road usually. It's usually both of us here on Mondays, but my name is Daniel Harms, senior film analyst, and today you all know this is how this works for most of you. You guys want to ask a question, make sure to put question marks in front of the question so that I can pick it out of the chat much easier. And I do apologize, my nose, we're still not all the way back from being sick. So there's going to be some times where it doesn't sound great, where there's stuff going on, but we're going to work through it. And hopefully you guys had a great weekend. And as much as you can disassociate from 2 weekends ago, because at this point we are into draft season. We are going to start our draft series here on Wednesday. I'll be breaking down Ariante Ursary, the left tackle from Minnesota, because that's just where we're at right now. It's about time to figure out what to do at the offensive line positions. This is a good place to start. So, like I said, looming decisions, right? What's going to happen with this offseason? My take on all of this is not so much to try to emulate, what the Eagles did. I was actually on Sports Radio 810 earlier today with Sterling Holmes, and we had a conversation about the run game. And the offense itself, right, has been transforming over the last couple of years. The last 2 seasons, we've seen the average depth of target really start to get shorter and shorter. A few years ago, 2022, it was about 7 yards, and then it goes to 6, and then 5 this past year. Excuse me. Why is that? Well, in large part, it's because while teams are playing differently for the Chiefs, much like we've seen across the league, their run game has gotten worse over the last 2 seasons. And while Isaiah Pacheco has been good, I think we're seeing now with the offensive line problems only being able to run in between the tackles. If you don't have a running back that can navigate those and still be explosive, Kareem Hunt, for everything that he was just unexplosive and unable to really take advantage of some of those things. When you physically can't run outside the tackles and teams know it, it's very easy to shut down a run game and to make them less effective, because the Chiefs were, let's not forget, one of the most efficient run games through the first 6-7 weeks of the season. And from then, it started to get worse. So I don't think that all of this is to say they need to make wholesale changes in the way they address their offense. But I'm here to tell you, if they don't get better running the football, this is going to continue to happen, because in big games, they will rely on Patrick Mahomes doing everything, having to do, make the quick plays and to get off of your first read consistently. And if you don't have an offensive line that can hold up, and we haven't really seen a ton of tackle development in Kansas City, we'll see the same results. So that's just my opinion. I think overall, once you can figure out the run game a little bit, I think some things will fall into place. So we are starting to get people flowing in here. Appreciate everybody. Happy Monday. Not one more inch. Appreciate that. What's going on, everybody? Nice to see you. Info in here. Steve, one of our members. Hi, everyone. How y'all doing? Hopefully you had a wonderful Monday. Very busy today for me. Radio appearance at TDN meetings. Doing a video for TDN tomorrow. It's dropping. It's Mason Graham, if you guys are interested in watching that. Overall, I hope everybody had a fantastic day. And if you're flowing in and you realize that, Ryan's not here. Yes, he won't be here tonight. He has some family obligations. What's going on, Thundarius? Nice to see you. Appreciate you being here tonight. just real quick, yes, I do like Caleb Johnson. I think he's dealing with some hate right now for whatever reason, and I'm not entirely sure why. But overall, um, yeah, we got it, guys. Let's go ahead and start answering some of your questions. Start off here with Lee. Got the first question in. Appreciate you, Lee. I think the Chiefs will look to a trade or free agency to fix left tackle. What do you think and who? Also, I see a tag and trade for Trey Smith. How do we replace him? So, I do think this to answer the second part of your question. Yes, I think tag and trade makes the most sense. Now, the window. I think the Chiefs have about a month. I don't. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to look it up too because I'm still managing all of this myself. Hi, sweetie. Yes, we got lots of stuff going on here tonight. All right, so it will be opening up tomorrow at 4 p.m. and that's when teams can issue the exclusive or non-exclusive franchise tag. So I do believe that Trey Smith will get tagged and traded before. Thank you. Good night, sweetheart. Be traded before all of that stuff happens. I do think that makes the most sense before the new league year starts. You want to see that happen. Now, to answer the first part, this is where it gets a little tough because the free agent market isn't the best, but I will say there is an option that would make a lot of sense if it were Brett Veach going after a guy like Jedrick Wills. A former first round pick. I know that he didn't have the best seasons with the Browns, but overall, I do believe that there's a lot that he could get better at, and being somebody that the Chiefs like to take first round pick failures, quote unquote failures, and try to retread them and get and see what they can give you. I think that's somebody else too. So all in all, it's not the best tackle free agent class. So just looking at that, I think they might be looking again in-house first and then figuring out. But they have a lot of in-house options to replace Trey Smith for guard, whether it is Kingsley Suamataia or Hunter Norzad is going to be another option as well. So I do think that they're going to have multiple options there. Probably also going to have some different players that they're going to take in the draft as well. So appreciate that, Lee. Sorry, guys. Excuse me. Trying to work through this. Talking more is just going to make it worse. But thank you very much, Brian, for the 5 super chat here. My thoughts on the long ball issue. Blocking issues do not run enough. Receivers routes are not creating separation, and defense protecting behind them. So yes and no. I think what we saw in the Super Bowl was what I hoped the offense was going to be in the second half, where you saw them actually attack deep. They didn't have a choice at that point. They were trying to figure things out. They got open. Xavier Worthy got open. I think that Hollywood Brown a couple times where it was able to open up spots for him. The problem I think came to this was they felt like they could only win one way. And when you only win that way in the short intermediate game with yards after the catch, it does not operate the same for your the long ball. And that's been a big problem. So I I don't disagree with you in the sense that they weren't creating enough separation all season long. They had opportunities to throw the ball downfield all season long, and a lot of times they chose not to. So I do think blocking outside, you're not being able to run the football enough will do that as well, and get some explosives off of it. So overall, I think that there's some to that. I also think that they just physically didn't do it enough, and they could have. So appreciate the 5 spot there, Brian. Hopefully we get to see more of that going forward, because I would really like to see some explosive plays. You guys, again, we are going to be answering your questions tonight. I am, at least to the best of my abilities. So I'm going to get through here, make sure I'm gotten all caught up. What's going on, Thundarius? Again, Dan the man, appreciate that. Nice to see you in here. William, another one of our members here. What's up, everybody? Hope everyone is enjoying their Monday, and hopefully it got off to a pretty good start, because the week getting off the way that it does after last weekend, not really the best way to go about it. But hopefully, you guys are all in here having a great day. Whew, lots of questions. All right, let's go. Lee, another one here for you. Will the Chiefs make any changes to their offensive coaches? Realistically, I can't tell you yes or no. That's how it is. I believe that they should. And if you guys were here last week on Monday, you kind of know how I feel about it. And I've been very busy. My wife just came back. We've got some things going on behind the scenes. I'm trying to do lots of draft work too, so I haven't gotten to the members rant. I will be doing that this week. I have a little bit less on my plate work wise, so I'm going to do that this week, and I will get that to you guys as soon as possible. And if you're not a member, I apologize, but you're going to see a lot about what I think should be going on with the offensive staff behind the scenes in that video, because I have lots of opinions and I can say them behind the members wall. So if you guys want to, go ahead and go join up on the members. I know 5 of you already got one in here, because SSG once again gifted 5 RGR subs. Appreciate you guys. If you would just go ahead and link your YouTube accounts to RGR, I believe it's somewhere on here. Ryan's got it all set up. I'm not very good at this thing yet. So you guys know there's multiple things. That's not the right area. Banner. Yeah, I'm still having trouble negotiating and redoing all this. But if you guys hit the join, send your emails to RGR podcasts, I believe, at gmail.com. We can get those linked in. You guys can get into the members site, get a part of the Discord. Lots of fun conversations happen over there as well. So make sure you're doing that, and appreciate you very much, SSG, as we always do, coming in here and dropping multiple subs for people that are in here. So thank you all very much for that. On last one here from you, Lee. Which Chiefs free agent wide receiver do you see coming back? I only see really Hollywood Brown coming back personally. I think that's what he does for the offense we saw in the Super Bowl. And DeAndre Hopkins at this point in his career, I don't think fits what the Chiefs need to do. Not what they can do, what they need to do. They need to use Rashee Rice as the number 1 option. Xavier Worthy is the number 2 option. Hollywood Brown and Travis Kelce are the chain movers, and they open things up. That's how it should be going forward if Travis Kelce decides he wants to come back. That's how, in my opinion. He should not be the number 1 guy. If you go back and watch the Super Bowl, which I know no one wants to do, they took away the first read a lot. They knew where the football was going a lot of the time in the short game. That was the big problem, and that's why the Chiefs couldn't get going. They were very predictable on first downs, and they invited the run. The Eagles invited the Chiefs to run the football. They wouldn't do it. They would not do it. They kept trying to throw the ball short. And then at times where you had Xavier Worthy opening up, getting him one-on-one on a linebacker, they didn't take it. So for me, it's Hollywood Brown, personally. It wouldn't surprise me to see Juju Smith-Schuster come back either. He was very valuable, I think, for this team as a veteran, and really just kind of good blocker, chain mover type player. I would bring him in over Justin Watson myself. So hopefully, guys, we'll see. All right, got a couple more questions here. All right. Steve, what's going on, man? One of our members, based on your draft evaluation so far, regardless of position of need, who are your 31st and 63rd best player so far in your evaluation? So I don't personally have a big board done myself, but I will give you a little exclusive from TDN and our top 100, our latest top 100. We'll be dropping later this week, I believe. Our board sits at 31. The best player on the board there is Carson Swessinger out of UCLA, linebacker, a really good middle linebacker type player, good coverage player. And then you have, I think he's a pretty good tackler. I don't think he's the best player in terms of someone that's going to be like a top Warner kind of player, but he's a very good linebacker, very good in coverage, instinctual, all those kind of things. And then at 63, we have Jaden Higgins, the wide receiver out of Iowa State. Big body, good mover, very good hands, catches the football above the rim. He can go up and do that. Good effort blocker as well. So those are just the 2 players that we have. Do I agree with Swessinger being there? Probably not. That's why it's a collective big board. Appreciate you, Steve. Clinton, thank you for the 2 and the question below. I got you right here. If Trey Smith is supposedly the number 2 overall free agent, that's kind of sad. I love Trey, but he's an average at best pass protector and our second worst penalty getter on the line. So I think he's fine in terms of his pass protection has gotten better. It's not great. He's still a very good run blocker, and at this moment in time, he's still 26 years old, right? He's still relatively young, and teams want those kind of players. They want them to fit in that offense, right? And teams like the Bears and the Patriots that are now at the youth part of their offense, where they have the quarterback and they don't have the offensive line, this is where you're going to see them make some of those transitions and transactions. So overall, I think that he's one of the best free agents because he still can get better. Do I think he's going to? Maybe. No, don't know honestly. But overall, I do think that's why, and the penalty stuff is real for sure. So I'm with you there because that's been part of the problem for him too, Clinton. So thank you for the two and the question. Right here, Red's on it right now. I know this is about football, but how about USA hockey team standing up for the USA? I've got it right on my screen over here. I am watching it now as you guys as they dropped the puck 30 seconds ago. So I'm with you, Red. I love this tournament. It's been so much fun, and I hope you guys and the USA just scored right off the draw. They just scored and went up 1-0. Let's go, baby. Love it. Let's go. All right. Mason, thank you for the question. If Kelsey retires and Harold Fandon Jr. is available at 63, do you take him? No. Now I've gone back and forth on Harold Fandon this season. I started off really high on him. I've gotten further away from that as the season's gone along, as I've watched more tape, and then I saw him in Mobile. He's very rigid. He has very, very stiff hips, stiff knees, and ankles. No flexion. He doesn't move the same way that Travis Kelce does, even as he was a prospect. For me, it's a no. I think that there are better and more athletic tight ends that I would be looking to draft in this class. Mason Taylor is one of them out of LSU. Elijah Arroyo. I've even actually had him in the first round in my latest mock for TDN. So overall, there's going to be better athletes and better chain movers than a guy who's undersized, height, weight, and arm length. So for me, it's a no, Mason. Sorry, guys. Thundarius, member for 12 months. Appreciate you, man. All hail RGR, my favorite spot for Chiefs news. You know, that's what we aim for, right? We tell you guys how it is and what we think. Are we going to be right all the time? No. That's kind of the point, right? If you're never wrong, then what's the point in doing anything? You learn from those mistakes. So, Thundarius, thank you for being a member here and for getting everything that you can out of this because we love doing this very much. Info. In my opinion, Kansas City would like to get a starting defense, left tackle, defensive tackle, wide receiver, running back, and cornerback. They won't be able to get all of these with early picks. Which positions do they go the free agent route? That's a very good question. There's going to be multiple different ways you can go about this. Let's go ahead and pull up all the free agents on here. So we'll pull up. I don't want defensive ends. I want defensive tackle. There we go. So all of them from on the free agent list. And let's start with some of the younger players. So Bobby Brown is the first one that comes up. The Los Angeles Rams, unrestricted free agent. He's the first one on the list. So defensive tackle might be the best way to go about this for defense tackle. But overall, the class is very good, right? The defensive tackle class is very good. So you have that to consider as well. I think you might want to go defense tackle for draft. Left tackle, you look what you can do, right? You see what you can do. You see what the free agents are, what they're offering, and you try to go there. Like I said, with Jedrick Wills, you might see the Chiefs take a chance on that, a 25-year-old former first-round pick, and overall, like that's what you're looking for, right? That's the thing. So that's how I think they should go about that. Wide receiver, they're probably going to draft one, but let me see the wide receiver. I don't think there's going to be very great options here as well because they're still trying to get younger, right? They still want to get younger at wide receiver. Elijah Moore is a player that I liked coming out. He's a free agent now, but we're looking at Josh Palmer probably goes back to the Chargers. There's the Emir Smiths, Marsets of the world. T. Higgins is going to get franchise tagged. There's not a bunch of great names out there for wide receivers. So Marquise Brown again probably comes back, and that's where you see maybe they take a wide receiver on day 3. Overall, they're going to be able to draft well enough over at defensive tackle. I think running back they're going to draft as well, and then you have some free agents here or there, maybe a wide receiver again, Hollywood Brown looking at left tackle for some experience there as well, just to have somebody in the room because I think that that's a great thing for them to want to have is that experience info. Appreciate the question. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. All right. What are your thoughts, Chris? Appreciate your question. What are your thoughts on some of the offensive coaches' thoughts on coaching Mahomes and how challenging it is to coach this late in the season every year? So I did see that quote. Um, my thought is you want to keep the silent part, right? You want to keep the silent part to yourself. It's not easy to coach this late in the year every single year. Guys get tired, coaches get mentally tired, they get exhausted. It happens. It's a grind for a reason, right? Winning Super Bowls is not easy for a reason. You keep the silent part silent, in my opinion. And if somebody asks you, like, you shouldn't be saying it's difficult at this point. One, everyone knows it. Everyone knows it. And if they don't think it's difficult, that's on them. So I'm it sounds to me more like recently Patrick Mahomes has been trying to be fit into a system and they are not building a system around him. If I were to give my honest opinion, the last 2 years have not been the Chiefs taking Patrick Mahomes and building a system around him. It's been using the system, excuse me, that we saw with Alex Smith, with previous iterations of Andy Reid offenses, and trying to put him into that offense. And I think that's the wrong way to go about it, personally. Appreciate you, Chris. Alex, what's going on? I see a lot of this. I've seen a lot of this today. Um, no, no, that's I have not heard anything about that. I think people are wish casting this because they they don't they don't believe or sorry, no, no, they don't believe it, but they want something to happen in case Travis Kelsey retires. Um, I don't believe this to be true, Alex. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but I don't think that's likely or going to happen in any shape or form. What's going on? Thank you for the 5. Appreciate the support. What's up, Dan? Been a while. What would you do more for the offense next season? A true 3-down running back or a league average left tackle? Or what do you think? Probably. Give me the left tackle. I think that you can manufacture running game with 2 running backs. You don't need a true 3-down back in the NFL anymore. You don't. You need 2 guys. One explosive between the tackles, has good vision. Another one that can come in on 3rd down in obvious passing situations, and then catch the football and pass protect. So give me the league average left tackle that has upside to get better too, and that's what I'm going to do, Ryan. So again, appreciate the support with the 5 there, and I thank you for the question very much. I think that's we are having some issues here with my internet. See, if this is Ryan's fault, by the way, this is all Ryan's fault. There we go. Beefy, appreciate the question. Do you think the Chiefs would take a running back in the first 3 rounds? I love Travion Henderson or Jordan James, but not sure if Kansas City wants to invest more than a 6th or 7th rounder. That's fair, but I do think based off of what we've seen recently in the NFL, mind you, I think taking one in the 3rd or the 4th round makes a lot of sense. It's going to be a good draft for running backs, and there's multiple things you can do with the draft class this deep at running back, and you don't even have to take one. You're going to be able to get a couple of UDFAs as well to come in and compete because there are so many good running backs, and they're just not going to have all of that available to them, right? They're going to probably draft one and bring one in because they need juice. They desperately need juice at the running back position. So I don't I think that they're going to also change some of their strategy surrounding the running back. Um, so I'm with you. I think that they should be looking a little bit higher. I love Travion Henderson as well. Personally, if you guys go watch on my breakdown I did on Travion Henderson on the TDN draft of the TDN YouTube page, you see that I don't think he's a true 3-down guy, mostly because of his injuries and his size. He's a fantastic running back. If he was bigger and he didn't have the previous injuries, I'd be all over it. If you're going to put him in a complement role, like a 1 and 2 backfield, I'm totally good with that. I love that. I love that fit. Thank you, Beefy. I see it over here, Knicks fan. I got you still. I got you. It's coming up. I got lots of questions. We're gonna get to them. That's already been answered. Oh, maybe I skipped over it, Chiefs. That's probably my fault. Clinton. I think I know what happened here. I think I know what happened. Yeah, that's my fault. That's my fault. I got it. I got it. Yeah, I haven't looked at the games honestly yet, Clinton. I haven't even gotten to that point of the season. So I'm looking at the offseason first, and then I will get to all of that fun stuff. Here it is, Chiefs. Appreciate you. My bad. My bad. My bad. I know Patrick is the best quarterback. I have watched with my own eyes, but he has to be protected and run the ball. Great time in our history. Yeah, you're right. They do need to do that. I also think, like I was talking about earlier, they need to put him at the focal point. He let him run the offense. We need to stop taking a square peg and putting it in a round hole. I know Patrick was so great at this offense this year. He was so good at it. Let him do what he wants to do. It's time now. He's almost 30 and he needs to be able to do what he wants. He knows defenses now. He knows what he's getting. He's seen it. The Eagles didn't do anything that we didn't know they were going to do. They added some simulated pressures, okay? That was it. But they played their zone. They played a lot of cover 4. They covered well. They played some man. They didn't play a lot of it. But overall, they didn't do anything that Patrick didn't know was coming. They didn't overly blitz. Let him be the guy. Let him control the offense. Stop putting him into a system. Build the system around him. I understand people are still talking about the Rashee Rice stuff. Realistically, we don't know what's going to happen. We have no clue. He maybe he gets suspended, maybe he doesn't. I don't know. I don't work in the league front office. About that. What I do know is they have 2 young receivers that are very good that they can do multiple things with. Let Patrick be the focal point and build the system around him. It needs to start going that direction. So I'm with you. I'm with you, Knicks fan. My apologies on skipping over some of these questions here. All right. What's going on, Casey? Thank you for the 5. While Mahomes has missed plays this season more than usual with the clean pocket, how much does the otherwise bad offensive line quality affect that? The big thing about this is when you watch Patrick and get the ball out quickly, knowing where he needs to go, right? The Bills game is a great example. They knew what they were getting, they knew how to attack it. The big difference is between that and the Super Bowl is that the Bills didn't take away first reads. They didn't do it. They didn't actively take away Patrick Mahomes' first reads. But they also did things differently in that game. They ran the ball better. They were better with play action. They also got the ball to their playmakers early because they could. They didn't do that well against the Eagles. They didn't get enough first downs. They didn't do enough of that. They also, excuse me, got predictable. They didn't run the ball. They went at Travis Kelce all the time. First reads all the time. He looked at him all the time. So Patrick, when he is on and in a clean pocket, even not in a clean pocket, when he's getting the ball out quickly and plays are there to be made, again, like against the Bills, that's what it looks like, okay? Bad offensive line, this game we saw in the Super Bowl affects this. It speeds him up. This is what happens. When you have a combination of being sped up from the process in front of you, but also the defense taking away your first read. So now you have to go off of, okay, you're not open. I need to go to my second read, but I know I've got pressure coming in my face. Like That's the problem, right? He was having tons of pressure right in his lap or off to the sides. There was a ton of it. And when you don't have a quick option to that, you fall into this place where you don't believe in the protection. You also don't believe that your first read's going to be open. So you just have to fail, basically, unless you can make a great play, which sometimes he does. And oftentimes in this game early, he didn't. He couldn't. So it's kind of twofold. I just think that even in sometimes offensive situations where the ball comes out quickly, but you're still getting pressure, he's still able to separate himself and make good plays. But in this game, you saw everything, just everything hurt him. So thank you for the 5, Casey. I hope that explanation answers your question. All right, William, appreciate you guys. Um, is there a free agent tackle other than Ronnie Stanley on the market who you think could have made a difference in pass pro in the Super Bowl versus the Eagles? The only other one is possibly Jedrick Wills. Alaric Jackson, maybe too. I know everyone talks about the arm length stuff, but overall, I think that he's a good tackle and he plays tackle. He's not a guard playing tackle. He plays tackle. So those are the two guys that I would go with. I just don't know that you're sitting here right now betting on that kind of stuff, right? You're not betting that those things are going to happen. But with our friends over at BetUS, there are some things that you guys can bet on, and make sure you go and check them out when you get a chance,
The
right?
best way to get into the action is with BetUS and their deal with code YouTube150. You can start playing today with that exclusive offer. You can get into all the football that you want, whether it's this week's matchup for the Chiefs, whether it's getting into the season long odds against Super Bowl, against the division. The Chiefs are heavily favored in a lot of those, but there are plenty of bets to be made. And you can do it all at BetUS, where you can get 150% of your deposit bonus up to 3 times and up to 2,000. Use YouTube 150 today at BetUS.
I very much appreciate BetUS helping sponsor this stream and this channel. As always, I don't know what happened to it, but the overlay disappeared. Ryan's not here, but we're going to go up with it anyway. And we'll try to figure out what we can do. So let's continue on with answering some of your guys' questions. Beefy got another one from you here. Thank you for the question. Dan, you work at TDN. Do you have any idea if they're trying to reboot their mock draft machine again? Used to love it, and I know they did a beta version last year. So I can't give you anything other than they are working to get it back. Okay. All I got for you is that they are working on it, and hopefully something happens in the next couple of months and it's available. We'll find out. But unfortunately, with things going on behind the scenes, I can't detail any more than that. I apologize, Beefy. I wish I could tell you more. Really do. Luigi's right. What's going on? Thank you for being a member and thank you for the question. Iowa running back at 63, realistic. I don't think for the Chiefs, no. Do I think him going in the top 63 is realistic? Sure. I think he's that good of a player. I think that what I've seen online is interesting because they are just putting him in this bucket of he only runs zone. He doesn't have explosive movements. Like he's just so fluid that he doesn't have to move that explosively. Like he realizes where the holes are and how to get to them very well. So Iowa's scheme helps as well. It's a good scheme. He's a good back. Period. Like he's just got the best footwork in the class. I love that kind of stuff. So it would not shock me to see him go in the top 63 at all because I do believe he is that good of a player. Christian, thank you for the $4.99, one of our members, and a super chat. You love to see the support. Does Mahomes really have full control of the offense? Rarely see him checking in and out of plays at the line. Am I crazy? I don't think you're crazy. I think that he doesn't necessarily like fully change the play. I think he changes routes. I think we've actually heard Travis talk about how there will be times where he does change the route, but I don't think he has the full control to change the play. Whew. All right, man. We got lots of stuff. Just trying to get out. But yeah, I don't disagree with you. I don't think we see a lot of that happen, which is another part of the problem. Again, I've said it earlier in the stream, and I think that the Chiefs need to just let him be, let him run the offense, let him legitimately run it. He's going to be 30 this year. It's time. It's over. Stop trying to control everything. Let him essentially call the plays. Let him deal with the plays. Let him construct the offense on the field how he wants to do it. This is his offense. It's been his offense for years. And and it needs to stop being Andy Reid calls the plays. You can change a route here and there, but you don't really change the play. If you see something's going to work better, let him change the damn play. Thank you very much, Christian, for the 5. Appreciate the support. All right, Jeremy, we've got a two-parter here. If I'm not mistaken, you aren't big on Jared Wiley, correct? 2, anyway. Amari Hampton is there for us in the second. I think the Chiefs should be looking in the 3rd round for a running back. They have 2 third-round picks. That's when they should be looking for a running back. They are going to need offensive line, defensive line. That they need those 2 spots. And this is a good interior offensive line class. If you're going that route, it's not the best tackle spot. But again, depending on who falls in the 1st round, you might get someone you like. But defensive tackle is very good. I don't think the Chiefs should be taking a running back in the 2nd round. And that's not because they're not worthy of it. They absolutely are. They're very good backs in this class. Even I had Amari Hampton in the 1st round of my latest mock draft. That's how good I think he is. So, but yes, I'm not very big on Jared Wiley. When you come out of college after transferring from Texas to TCU and your production still isn't there and you get hurt in your 1st season, there's not much there for me personally. I just don't see it with Jared Wiley myself. So I like Noah Gray a lot, but they still need to be looking for the future stuff. Maybe Peyton Hendershot comes back. He's also a free agent, so we'll kind of see on that regard. Info. Thank you for another question. If Bolton asks for too much, could Dre Greenlaw be an option? He would be our best coverage linebacker, and Tranquil or Chanel could play more in the middle. But yeah, you would have to, by default, it would have to be Drew. Drew would be that guy. I think you could ask Chanel to do it, but I think Drew mentally is more prepared to be the green dot overall. So I think that I don't know if Bolton's necessarily going to ask for too much. I think he's going to get too much. I think someone's going to overpay him, and that's the deal. That's what free agency is all about. So go get your money. Go get your money. But I think he could be an option. He would be a better coverage backer than they've seen in the past couple of seasons. So yes and no. But if I'm not mistaken, one second. I think this is the same guy that had issues, right? Maybe not. I thought this was the guy who didn't want to come in the game. I'm just trying to read and see if maybe it was somebody else. Regardless, sure, they could. Apologies again, everybody. Working our way through this cold, sinus cold. I'm not entirely sure. Something. I don't know. Oh, thank you very much, Sam. I appreciate that. So glad you guys are here. You all make this time of year good. I'm just glad, But Campbell, that's right, Chris. Thank you. Sorry. I appreciate the support, you guys. It's unreal what we've been able to accomplish here. No, we're finally over 30,000 subscribers. So that's awesome that we have that many people here that enjoy the content that we provide. And we like talking ball. And that's one thing that I'll always want to do. So thank you for being here, Sam, and dedicating some of your time out of your week to spend here with me as we answer some questions. And I very much appreciate this one from Kenneth. Obviously depends on free agency moves, but how do you feel about the Chiefs double dipping at offensive tackle on days 1 and 2 with guys like Connerly, Ursery, Belton, Trapillo? I'm out on Trapillo, if I'm not mistaken. He's from Boston College. Like, I know he's huge. He was just not good. He was not good at the Senior Bowl. Not interested. Anthony Belton played much better at the Senior Bowl than he did this year at NC State. So that's cool to see. And I did get some intel that he was playing too heavy this past year. So he lost a little bit of weight going into the Senior Bowl, looked better. That's what you like to see. Josh Connerly does not handle power. Doesn't handle power. I don't think he would fit in Kansas City as much as the staff probably likes Connerly, because he's a good athlete. He's a bit lighter. He gets out on the move well, and he has good hand usage. I'm personally looking for bigger guys. I want to see bigger guys. I got to see a little bit more power on the offensive line that still can move. And I know that I mocked Marcus Bow, excuse me, at Purdue to Kansas City, who does not deal with power as well. He deals it with it better than Connerly does, but his hand usage is elite. It's the best in the class. Just the best in the class. So I don't know if they would double dip because they've drafted already. They're not going to be giving up. I'm just going to tell you guys now. They are not going to give up on their second round pick from last year. They're just not going to do it. Whether he's going to be tackle or a guard going forward, I don't know. But I think that he's going to get another shot to be tackle, because you don't just draft a guy with his upside and then you just say, yeah, you're not going to play guard to tackle ever again. I don't see that happening. Yes, that's right, Chris. Campbell was the one that didn't want to go into the game, and then Greenlaw was the one that got hurt coming out of the field in the Super Bowl. You're right. Greenlaw didn't. Yeah, it was the backup. That's what it was. It was the backup, right? That's right. You guys, thank you for the corrections. Appreciate that. Kev, what's going on? Thank you for the $4.99. Thoughts on Josh Simmons, Connerly, and is that Armand? I think it's Armand, the Missouri guy. Also, if Kansas City has a defense tackle / edge rated higher, should they go in that direction knowing that they left tackle? So yes. For the answer to the second part of your question first, yes. You draft the guy you have a higher grade on, period. End of story. Especially if it's still a position of need, which, especially a defensive tackle, it will be. I still think that they need to get an impact defensive end. It's not happening with FAU. It's not happening fast enough. Unless he takes a huge step this year, it's not going to happen. So, period. End of story. You know, we talked about, you need an impact defensive end. So, that, yes. I like Josh Simmons. It sucks that he got hurt this year. He was playing maybe the best of all the tackles in the class. He's probably going to go pretty high. I wonder how the medicals work out for him at the combine next week. But I gave you guys my opinions on Connerly, and I'm not fully in the tape on Armand yet. So we'll have more thoughts on that going forward. Probably do a review on him as well for the channel, just to have a better idea of who he is for you guys. But I don't think that you should be drafting left tackle if you have a player that's rated higher on your board, still at a position of need for sure. All right. We'll do that one. All right. Appreciate you, Kev. Thank you for the super chat. Addicted to capping games. Thank you. Dan, I apologize for the language, but I am so damn tired of these lines playing with finesse. I want some damn dogs on the lines that aren't afraid to put someone on their asses. That needs to stop. That needs to stop. So yeah. They tried, with Orlando Brown, but that was too far in the direction. He wasn't a good enough athlete to help as a pass protector. Still a very good run blocker, and I think we've seen, since he's not been in Kansas City, some of the decline of the run blocking on that side specifically. So there's that for sure. Then they need to find a guy who has it all. But when you're drafting again at the end of the first round, you typically don't get them. You typically don't. That's why I'm interested as to why Ariante Ursary, Minnesota tackle, has been kind of falling around this area for the Chiefs, where they go pick him and go up and possibly trade up for him. That would be an interesting possibility. I'm gonna break it down for Wednesday, but I'm with you. I'm definitely with you. Ty, what's going on? Would you re-sign Turk? Don't think they can draft multiple defensive tackles with the left tackle, running back, edge, and cornerback depth they need as well. I think they should bring back Wharton, the other two guys, no, they can move on, in my opinion, for sure. I would definitely bring back Turk. It was that the contract year, but he also just got better in general. So for sure, I think I would definitely look to bring him back. Excuse me. Is there a Jet McKinnon or a Damian Williams type running back in this draft? There's lots of different backs. But if you're talking about like a speed guy, um, none that have like that pass protection quality. Where Jet McKinnon, he was a little bit undersized, but he was really good at pass protection. Brashard Smith is someone I've got my eye on, specifically as a 1-2 guy. But if we're talking about a little bit undersized and fast, but very good in getting better at pass protection, I think Travion Henderson is the answer in that regard. Very good, route runner, pass catcher, and he's a good pass protector. He's got some technique to figure out, but the effort's there and the physical nature to do it is there as well. He also run blocks very well. So, like, you could pull him and then have just imagine he's coming out of the backfield and he's lead blocking for Xavier Worthy on an end around. Like, that's the kind of stuff you can do with him. So, in the mold of a Jerick McKinnon, sure, but overall, some Brashard Smith, SMU running back, speed guy, very good receiver. He's willing in pass protection. He had a couple of bad reps, a couple of good reps where he got better at the Senior Bowl. So I think that there's still some technique to work on for that as well. But overall, I think that he did a good job showcasing that he's got that speed. And what I was really impressed with it was his he feels the running back position very well. And you could tell that he understood like concepts, how to be patient. He has pretty good vision for a guy who played wide receiver 2 years ago. So you love to see that. Hopefully that helps a little bit, Tatum. Nighthawk, thank you for coming in and becoming a member here. Appreciate that very much. Very, very much. We always love the support. William, we got another super chat from you, $4.99. What are your thoughts on Kenneth Grant as a draft option for the Chiefs? Have you ranked defensive tackles yet? So Kenneth Grant is one of the biggest guys I think I've watched that move as good as he does. Obviously, he's got the long 34-plus-inch arms. He's very stout against the run, point of attack strength, takes on double teams very well. Pass rush upside, right? He's still not really turned that corner, but he can play 0, he can play 1, and play 2-eye, play inside for the Chiefs next to a Chris Jones. But I think that if you want to draft him, pairing him with the Chris Jones makes the world of sense, right? It makes so much sense because he would learn how to use his hands better. But I would love to see him in Kansas City. I think that he's a very good player. I think he's going to go a lot higher than people think because of that raw upside that he has as a pass rusher, as he has all the tools to become a very good pass rusher. So I think that's going to bolt him up pretty high, William. Appreciate the super chat. Black and Gold, what's going on? Oh, thank you for the 3 there. Higher priority, Bolton or Smith? Or are you unrestricted free agent left tackle? Let's answer the first part. I think that's if we're talking about strictly priority 4 without numbers, right? It's Trey Smith, without a doubt. Free agent left tackle, not going to be a big priority because there aren't a huge number of them out there, maybe only 2 or 3 that you would be looking to get for Kansas City. I think the big names right now are Ron Stanley and Jarek Wills and Alaric Jackson. Those are the 3 guys I would be looking at for left tackle. Appreciate the super chat there. All right, Addicted to Cappy. We got another one from you. Dan, do you have any thoughts on my boy Kobe Bryant from Kansas? As he would be a good pick for the Chiefs in the last round. The kid just has nose for the ball. He does. I love the way he plays. He's just too damn small. He's so small. I worry about him. Like I really do. I love his game. I have him as a top 100 player because of the instincts, right? He has very good instincts. I think he plays above his weight class as well. I think he's a pretty good tackler for his size. I do worry about the size and getting nicked up and getting hurt, but I think that he would be fun in Kansas City. They would probably put him at nickel, which I'm fine with. I think he can play nickel, and that would stop the Chiefs from having to put Jamari Connor at nickel. So I think that he would make sense, but a guy who also could play outside in a pinch if you needed him to. So I like Kobe Bryant a lot. Nighthawk, what's going on? Thank you for the 5, man. I may be in the minority on this, but I'm ready for a new RB1. True that. And Mike Tomlin would make a great offensive coordinator. Mike Tomlin, I don't believe, is an offensive minded coach. He's former, like he doesn't do any of that stuff So I don't think he'd be a good offensive coordinator. I think that Mike Tomlin is very well suited to be a head coach and manage other things, part of the team that we've seen him do in the past. So I disagree with you there, but I'm with you. I think that the Chiefs desperately need a different running back, and I think you're right there, David. He was a DB coach. He was, at least, if not maybe special teams. I could look it up real quick. Um, just because I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he was the Buccaneers defensive backs coach in 2001. So then he became a defensive coordinator for the Vikings after that. So there, exactly, with David. I appreciate that. So yeah, he's definitely not an offensive minded guy. He's been around, some good offensive minds for sure, but not necessarily thinking he'd be an offensive coordinator for the Chiefs. But they definitely need to be drafting a different running back in this class, in my mind, so they can get some more explosive vision to their running back room. They desperately need that. So very much thank you for the super chat there, Knight. Another one here from Christian, another 4.99. Thank you very much. If we lose Trey Smith, does Armand Membow from Missouri make sense at guard? Thoughts? Again, that I've said this. They have really three options. If you want to put Wanya Morris at guard, even Kingsley, if he doesn't work out at tackle, and Hunter Norzad at guard as well. Are you going to be getting Trey Smith there to that physical nature? Maybe not, but I think you upgrade as a pass protector, but still get better overall with upside there too. So I don't know if they're going to be drafting interior offensive linemen. I think they're going to be looking at guys that can just get their best five out there. If that happens to me, Membao, then sure. But I haven't gotten into his tape yet, so I don't know enough about him to say for certain, Christian. All right, let's see. We got lots of stuff here. I'm not gonna be able to answer all of your guys' questions tonight. I do apologize. I'm gonna get to as many of them here as I possibly can, for sure. Um, Chiefs Knicks fan member for 23 months. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate all the support. Who do you think drafts Travis Hunter, and what position do you think he plays? I have him going number 1 overall to the Titans in my most recent mock that dropped this morning on the Draft Network. And I think he's going to play defensive back, a cornerback, excuse me. I would put him at wide receiver if it were me. I would play him at wide receiver, but I think he's got elite upside at both. It will take a little bit longer for him to get there at wide receiver, but he's already an elite corner. Like he's got the instincts, the football IQ. He's a very good, just understanding where the football is, where it goes. He's got great hands. As we know, he can make crazy one-handed interceptions, and he's very sticky in coverage. Like, he plays zone, he plays man, he can do it all. So that's what I think. I appreciate that, and I do think he's going to be a damn good football player for a long time. Alex, what's going on? Remember, 30 months. I really wanted Laporta. Just draft an Iowa tight end. It wouldn't be that bad of a thing to draft. Who is the Iowa tight end in this class? I forget. I can't. That's not what I meant. That's not it either. You all know there's a tight end that's in this class that I can't remember. But there is one. You guys can all let me know. Lakey, yeah, that one. This guy right here. I think he's a good player. I wouldn't mind the Chiefs drafting him on day 3 if he's still there, to be honest with you. Wouldn't shock me. I'd like it. But yes, Alex, sometimes you just got to keep drafting at the same spots, right? See what you get. I'll go ahead and answer this now. I know we got lots of questions about Stanley, but overall, I think Ronnie Stanley is a good player. He's got tons of injury issues, a ton of them. He's 30 years old. He's going to command a lot of money. He had a very good year. It was a contract year for him, and he stayed healthy. So he's going to command a lot of money. I don't know that he's going to be in the price range for the Chiefs because they have money invested in right tackle. They'll have money invested at center. They'll have most likely money invested in left guard. I think that they're going to be looking to get a little bit younger, a little bit cheaper. That's why I'm looking at Jedrick Wills, because he's going to be a retread, former first-round pick, who you might get on a 1-year deal maybe a 2-year deal if you sign him and he's willing to take a lot less because his market value is not great. So I think that overall, Ronnie Stanley would help the offensive line out a ton, but I don't think he's going to be in their price range. And I know people are going to say they should pay whatever it is. I don't think that realistically they'll be able to. Kenneth, what's going on? Would you be upset if the Chiefs decided to mostly run it back on offense with their own free agents and day 3 picks, instead prioritizing defensive line, cornerback, etc. depth with early draft picks? Yes, I'd be upset. Yeah, I don't think it's a feasible way to operate. I don't. They need to adjust their offense. And realistically, they're going to probably lose out on Trey Smith. They're not going to extend him with the contract he's going to get. He's going somewhere. I don't know where it's going to be, but it's somewhere else. And drafting a defensive tackle is a good thing in this class for sure. But overall, they have to inject some more youth and some more athletic ability into the offense itself in terms of if they're going to get another wide receiver, it needs to be a route runner. It needs to be a tactician route runner. If they're going to draft a tight end, it needs to be somebody that can get open. If they're going to be drafting an offensive lineman, they need to be powerful but athletic. It's got to. They have to go about building this a little bit differently. I would like to see them bring Marquise Brown back. I would, but that's because I think that they can finally attack deep with both of those guys. I think we would have seen it more if he played healthy all season long. So I'd be a little upset. I would. Micah, tight end Micah Gesicki is a free agent. We can sign him for $2 million or less. If the Giants cut Greg Dulcich, he will be available. Should we sign both or one of them? I don't think they're moving a needle. Mike Gesicki again was force-fed targets at with Cincinnati. I don't think he gets on the field for this team because he can't block. He won't block. He's not good at it. And the Chiefs want their tight ends to be able to block. I think there's a more realistic chance that they bring back Peyton Hendershot than they do bringing one of those guys in. Even though I liked Greg Dulcich coming out, he's done nothing. He's been on someone's doghouse his entire career. So I don't know what happened there. But maybe he's the one I would kick the tires on personally. Thank you, Micah. Appreciate you. Thansda, thank you for being a member and thank you for the question. What do you think about LaQuint Allen out of Syracuse? Could he be a good fit with the Chiefs? Yeah, I think he definitely could be. I haven't watched a ton of his tape, but I did get to watch him in Mobile. He had some ups, some downs. He looked a bit faster, a bit quicker than I expected him to. But very good pass catcher, very good pass protector. Those are good qualities to have. I think day 3, you're going to see LaQuint Allen be drafted. Wouldn't surprise me if it was by the Chiefs because, again, if they're looking to make that 1-2 punch at running back and they bring back a Kareem Hunt or get someone Kareem Hunt-esque with good vision in between the tackles, they can get some out of those plays, but then they can also bring in Allen, extend, run to the outside a little bit. I like that. I like that a lot. I'm going to get into his tape a little bit more too as the season or this draft cycle gets through, but I appreciate that. All right, Mike Green balled out at the Senior Bowl practices. Should we draft him if he drops to us? 17 sacks last year. I don't mean to burst your bubble there, but I don't think he's going to at all. I think that the Senior Bowl confirmed what everyone had been looking for from him. I think that's what the big thing is here, is that he got confirmation from everybody. That's why he left after day 2 of the practices, because he confirmed it. Everyone was there. We all saw it. And I think he's going to go inside the top 15, personally. I actually had him going 8 to the Carolina Panthers, if I'm not mistaken, in my latest mock draft. So that was more of a little bit of they need someone like that with development prospects. I know he's a bit older, but I think he's that good, Micah. But if by some miracle he was there at 31, yep, take him and don't look back. Joe, I love running back Amari Hampton, but what do you think of Cam Skattebo? I like Skattebo. I do. I think Skattebo is just a very good college player. He's going to be a pretty good running back in the NFL. I think overall you're going to see him be more impactful in power-based offenses, and his vision isn't bad. It's more about the quickness with which he can make decisions and his body limitations athletically. He's not the fastest guy in the world, and he does not reaccelerate very well. He's physical. He will drag guys forward, and that's part of the problem with him at the next level. I think he's going to be a good 1-2 back. I don't think he's going to be a workhorse in the NFL. But I would love to be proved wrong by him. So I hope that he's great. I hope he's great in the NFL. Like they think that would be awesome to see, because he's such a fun player to watch, and I really appreciated watching him this year. Ryan White, thank you for the question. I was pretty underwhelmed by Dana's year after getting paid decently. How pressing would it be, or is it to find a true second starting edge player? Maybe a minute who comes back, or like DeMarcus Lawrence. If I'm not the Chiefs. If it were me, I would be saying to FAU, this is your year. This is your year. 2025 is your year. If you are not going to show anything this year, it's it. It's over. He's not getting the 5th-year contract, the 5th-year extension. That's not happening. This is it. He needs to show up this year. But also, if you start drafting players and a defensive end is there, you have to take him. It's pretty much over for him anyway. So it's not as pressing as it could be, but because they have lots of bodies, and I think they're going to try to bring Omenihu back, it makes a crowded room. But for me, I'm trying to get the most out of a guy who had a ton of upside coming out, but he had to get into the NFL shape, which I think he did this past year. But we'll find out, right? We'll find out. This is the last year for him, though. Like 2025, if we don't see improved sack numbers, if he doesn't play more, if he doesn't earn more playing time, it's over. It's over. All right. I do apologize, guys. I haven't gotten to all of your questions. And if I haven't reached all of your questions and you're on Twitter, please come reach out to me, at me, DM me on Twitter. I'll do my best to get them. You guys can get me at In Harm's Way 19. We're going to end here with the last 2 super chats. I very much appreciate you, kid, for the $4.99. What are the positional needs on the offense and defense for the upcoming draft for the Chiefs? Offensive line, period, is the big one on offense. Running back is right there. It's right there in front in bold, in my opinion. Like those are the 2 positions. Whether it's interior, outside, you got to figure something out for your tackle spot. And I don't think it's a wrong decision to draft another tackle if somebody is there for you and you figure out who's going to be your best 5. That's what the Chiefs need to do. So running back is there as well. Also, another young receiver. Another one. Yes, I know. Bring back Hollywood Brown, but you still need to get more youth and talent. And I believe this one needs to be a route runner, a very good route runner. I don't care how fast you are. I don't care how big you are. Run routes, get open now. They need to do that as well. So those are the offensive ones. On defense, right now, you need defense tackle. You need another corner. You need a free safety. And you probably need another linebacker. So we'll see what free agency shakes out, and then we'll get more detailed about their draft needs when that time comes. But those are how it stands right now, in my opinion, kid. Appreciate the $4.99. And we'll end here with Eli. Very much appreciate you, the 5 spot super chat. Woo. If we tag Trey Smith, what is his trade value? That's a good question. You're probably not getting a first round pick for him. I could see a second round pick. I could see that. That wouldn't shock me at all. If you can get another top 50, a top 60 pick for Trey Smith, I think that's probably where his value is. If I'm being honest, specifically because someone's going to also pay him maybe as the highest paid guard in the NFL. It wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me, Eli. Thank you very much for the support. All right, you guys, thank you very much for being here with me tonight and dealing with the coughs and trying to get through as many of these things are. But you guys, please, I'm trying to figure out if Ryan's going to be here to do a video for you tomorrow. If not, I will be back on Wednesday with a breakdown of Minnesota tackle Ariante Ursery. Big guy, 6'6", 330 pounds, good mover. That's someone we're going to talk about on Wednesday if he's going to fall to the Chiefs around 31, or maybe they go trade up to get him. Please, if you guys are not here as a sub on the YouTube channel, please do so. We are we are growing. We are growing. We're almost at 31,000 subs, and we appreciate all the support that you guys consistently give us. And make sure to check out our friends over at BetUS and use that code we showed you earlier in the video to get a great deal. Please have a great rest of your evening. Work constantly is happening here behind the scenes, and then we can't wait for this draft season, free agent season, to get back closer to the draft so we can continue to bring you guys some of the best content out there. Thank you very much for being here with me tonight once again. I'll see you guys next time, and have a great night.